Hello, viewers. Welcome again to MBTV Weekly Property Roundup. We bring to you top developments from Indian real estate space, which is going to have a lasting impact on you as a consumer. I am Prasun Kumar, Marketing Head of Magic Bricks, and with me is Jayashree Kuru, Senior Real Estate Journalist and Editor-in-Chief of MBTV. Welcome, Jayashree.
Thanks, Prasun.
So lots of consumer-friendly news coming this week, Jayashree. And the biggest of them, of course, was Maharashtra's step to cut the stamp duty on new property registrations from 5% to 2% till 31st of December. And also Housing Ministry advising all the states to reduce the stamp duty. Do we see this coming across from different states as well? And how significant an impact is this going to be on the demand side?
Actually, it's a big news, Prasun, because cutting the stamp duty by 3% and 2% is, the property is a very high value purchase. So
Right.
even 1% is a big deal. So here you're talking about 3% cut and 2% cut till March 31st, 2021. Now, there was no way of boosting. They cut the interest rates. The demand didn't pick up significantly. They did various other things, but the demand was not. Demand was more or less static for a long period of time. And this was Maharashtra's way of saying that let's push the fence sitters. It's a time-bound cut. It's till 31st of December. Next 3 months, if you buy a property, you have to buy or sell a property. You have to pay 3% less. And then on from January to March, it will be 2% less. So clearly, it's pushing consumers to say, don't hold out anymore. Why don't you start buying? It's a great way of pushing the consumer demand, and the state government also gets revenues. And this is something that we've always maintained, that if you have less, you reduce the rates, and the compliance goes up, so the state earns more.
Right, and Housing and Urban Affairs Secretary Mr. Durga Shankar Mishra has already advised other states as well. Now the subject in the state's domain, isn't it?
Yeah.
And each state will have to decide on their own.
Absolutely. Every state has to do it on their own. And actually, I think the thing is that Maharashtra has led the way. And as more transactions happen, other states will get an impetus to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving from here to another good news for buyers of Amrapali projects in Noida, where Supreme Court has asked the SBI CAP to issue about 625 crores from Swami Fund for six stuck Amrapali projects and to complete them. We also discussed a forward movement in the Amrapali case last week as well. And there seems to be now a very positive momentum for the stuck Amrapali projects.
Yes, I think if you look at what the Supreme Court is doing, the Supreme Court is trying every tactic known to it to at least raise that last mile funding so that these projects get off the ground. And in Amrapali, remember, these are only 6 projects. There are many more projects, but these 6, everything was clear, and the Supreme Court felt that SBI CAP could fund it. The SBI CAP had refused it. The Supreme Court sent it to the Finance Ministry, and the Finance Ministry has clearly given the nod. And that's why this SBI CAP has issued the statement that it will give 625 crores. It's a step forward, but for many Amrapali buyers, there is still a wait ahead, because their projects also have to reach the stage where they can get the funds.
Yes, absolutely. And obviously, we have always also maintained that all stakeholders have to come together and take positive steps forward. And there we see now Noida Authority taking some proactive steps. And they have said about 16 builders of incomplete projects. They're going to offer about 250 crore stops to them to complete the projects. What are these stops going to be, and how is this going to help?
This is while the earlier one was to push the consumer to start buying. This is Noida Authority is offering SOPs to get the builders to start completing. It is saying that in a time frame, this is also time bound. In this much time, if these 16 developers complete their project, then the amount of money that they have to pay to the authority has been waved off and brought down to a massive 250 crore, right? This really means that it's telling the message is out for the developers that complete now, and we'll facilitate lower transaction costs. If you don't complete now, you have to pay the full amount, which is huge.
Absolutely. And after this slew of very, very positive developments, it's time for reality check as well. And we get to hear that builders have outstanding default of more than 15,000 crores to Haryana government. How is this ever going to be resolved?
Actually, Prasun, let's look at the other side of the story. If it is 15,276 crore that is still due to the Haryana government, can be not more than 10% of the total, which means 50 crore have been actually collected by the Haryana government. But if you look at cities like Gurgaon, Faridabad, Sonipat, Panipat, Karnal, and so on, you will find that the money that was collected, the 150 crore, 150,000 crore, there is nothing on the ground to show what they've done with the money. The Haryana government has this policy of EDC and IDC, internal and external development charges and infrastructure development charges. These charges are, there is no accountability. They've collected it. You've seen Dwarka Expressway, you've seen the Sona Road, you've seen sewage trunk lines are not laid. If they are laid, one line does not match the other line. We did a show around why cities are not able to cope with their water. And you saw that 2 weeks ago, Gurgaon was in a huge crisis because of the water that was along the golf course road. All this points to the fact that the 150,000 crores that they've taken, nothing seems to have been done with it. Very little seems to have been done. About 10 years ago, the residents of premium condominiums and a lot of corporates had actually started a campaign saying, we want accountability, we want to know where the money is. Now, MCG has been formed, but a lot of that money seems to have just been frittered away in salaries and PFs and things like that. But nothing is on the ground. So I think the story is not that builders still owe 15,000 crore. I think the story is that the remaining 90% that was collected, nothing seems to have been done with that.
Right. And that's a huge amount of money.
That's a huge amount of money.
Now, moving down south, Jayashree, in Bengaluru, there seems to be some good urban planning kicking off, where RWAs and NGOs are now planning to come up with cycle-friendly neighborhoods in Bangalore. Given the climate of Bangalore and the cosmopolitan nature of the city, this seems to be a good move.
Yes. Post-COVID, Prasun, a lot of cities have seen that residents have taken to cycling, either just for pleasure or like in cities like Bangalore, where the weather is really nice. They have been actually using the cycles to get to work, to go to the shops, all kinds of things. So as a result, now this is a groundswell that's coming up. People don't want to use public transport. People don't want to pollute the air again, because you can see how clean the air is in all cities. So a lot of people have taken to cycling. And the problem with Indian cities is it's neither pedestrian friendly nor is it cycling friendly. And I think this is a great way of responding to citizens' movements.
That's right. But there's always been a challenge, which is to develop an infrastructure much later than when population comes to settle in those places, and to develop this kind of infrastructure in congested areas of Bangalore, or because it's an old city anyway, right? Wouldn't that be a challenge?
Actually, retrofitting cycling tracks is not that much of a challenge. The cycling track and the pedestrian tracks have to be planned well into the city, and it's easier to plan cycling tracks and get traffic off the road than to expand the roads, because there is no road space in Bangalore.
Absolutely.
So if you can give a little space on the sides for the cyclists, and it's a far safer city than many other like Delhi and Bombay and so.
Yeah, that's true. So let's hope that happens. And on that positive note, this is it for this week. We hope slew of good news continues, and keep watching MBTV for more such news.
Thank you. Bye.